within your reach. For your own safety, you will be seated while the train is in motion. Please keep your head, arms, legs inside the cars at all times. We'll say goodbye now to Pat and Lou and Hans and begin our journey of 2.5 miles around the village with our next stop on the north side at Smith Creek. We will not be stopping at Susquehanna Station. That is closed for the season. The gray building that we're passing by is a four-story building. That was used on his Model A car that had a soybean oil base. The farmhouse that we're approaching was the birthplace of Henry Ford. He was born here in July of 1863. The farm was located just outside of Detroit, comprised of 70 acres, and the family raised merino sheep. Now if you look to your left just past the farmhouse, you can look down on our main street. Here you'll find the Ford Motor Company, the Wright Cycle Shop, Wright Home, Town Hall, and our 1913 Herschel Building Carousel. The only carousel at that time that had a frog as one of its riding figures. Edison laboratory in New Jersey. He's credited with over 1,000 patents in this facility. You can stroll the grounds, go into the machine shop, or over to the office. The main building itself is closed for renovations that are going on inside. Now if you look to your left across the street, the yellow building is the Sarah Jordan Boarding House. This is where all the single young men that worked for Edison would stay and live. It was one of the first few buildings to be electrified by Mr. Edison. Next to that would be his Fort Myers, Florida laboratory. Whenever it gets too cold in New Jersey, he would go to Florida. We're now passing by our Reckley Bridge. This is our gateway into our Purchase and Harvest District. Here you'll find the Frost, Webster, and Giddings home. You can stroll around Cotswold Cottage or down to Susquehanna Plantation. This comes from Tidewater, Maryland, and in 1837 their principal crops were corn and tobacco.
Look at a map. Determine where we're going to go after Easter. Okay?
We're now approaching our Cape Cod Windmill. This was built in 1649 and is the last original structure of its kind left in the United States. If you want to try colonial life, a Daggett farmhouse next to it predates the American Revolutionary War, was built in 1754. If you want to, you go by the ladies who will be happy to tell you what life was like back at that time. You can also stroll into their vegetable gardens to see what they are growing for food. Right now is called a running blowdown. This is standard procedure on all operating. This was the easiest way of eliminating any sediment that might be forming in the steam. We're now approaching our nature reserve. This is 20 acres of pristine forests that have been allowed to grow untouched by human hands. Occasionally during the season, you will see our red fox, coyotes, some deer, even turkeys that call it home.
Well, I didn't see the turkey today. My glasses. Yeah, you got the filming ready.
We're now going into our nature reserve. This will let you feel what it was like to travel across the United States in the early days of the railroad. Before that time, our major means of transportation were by stagecoach, wagon, horseback, or walking. With the advent of the railroad, the time spent traveling distances was dramatically reduced. To travel from Detroit to Chicago by stagecoach could take up to 8 days. By train, no more than 7 hours. Cotswold Cottage, Giddings, Webster, and Ross's homes. Coming up to our Henry Ford Academy. To attend, you must be a resident of Wayne County. It is done on the lottery system, so if your name is John, you are allowed to attend here grades 9 through 12 for free. Nice Center Academy next to the museum. The main building here is for grades 10 and 11, and as we slowly go around the turn, you'll find 3 railroad cars that have been combined into 3 large classrooms. This is where our seniors finish out their final year. We're now going to be going by our Swanee Lagoon. This is only used now for flood control here in the village. Now as we climb the hill towards Smith Creek, if you look to your left just past the stone building, you will see the Martha Mary Chapel. This was built by Mr. Ford in honor of his mother and mother-in-law. Next to it is our Taste of History, offering a wide variety of food, so cafeteria style. This is the only facility in the village that will be serving hot food now until 3:30 this afternoon. Now as we come into Smith Creek, this could be your exit point to go over the main street to visit our carousel, up the hill to Taste of History, or down to Ford Motor Company, the Right Cycle Shop, Right Home, Town Hall, and our frozen custard ice cream stand. Down Junction, you can walk the front of our roundhouse, or to Liberty Craft Works to watch the artisans hard at work. Now as we come into Smith Creek, we can all wave and say hi to Sue and Ginger, station masters here. And I ask everybody to please remain seated until we come to a complete stop. Once the whistle blows, it will be safe to exit on the left-hand side. If you are departing here, please leave the chain down and please put your masks back on. This is a mask-required facility. You must be wearing the mask when you depart the train. Please wait for the whistle.